Okay.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Tuan. We had a conversation with former heads of state of Latin America recently about the effects of the pandemic in our countries. And the first thing that we said was, we are in the same boat. At the end of the conversation, we said, no, we are not in the same boat. We are in the same storm, but in very different boats. So this is a first conclusion for the comparison between the part of my part of the world and the rest of the world. Second, how does the Latin American boat looks like? I strongly recommend that we incorporate in our conversations the social component of the problem. We talk a lot about economics and technology, but the social aspect is so important that I would invite every one of us to stress that part as well. So basically, 2 or 3 indicators. The first one, we have lost in one trimester in Latin America what we had gained in 10 years before. That is the impact in the social sector. We have more poverty, more unemployment. We have fewer and fewer people covered by Social Security with all the benefits that Social Security brings with it. And we have changed policies that before were constructed as institutions to deal with the social aspects to assistentialism. We have had to go back to give money, bonuses for people that are hungry, unemployed, etc. So that's a real disaster for all of our countries. Then we are entering in the IPEX world, I for inequality, P for polarization, E for exclusion, and X for xenophobia. I am really concerned about that. In October, remember, before the pandemic, we have a lot of problems in Latin America, in many countries across the board. Many social protesters for different regions and reasons. The joke in my part of the world at the time was that to try to improve your situation in Latin America by moving from one country to the other was like trying to improve the situation by shifting cabins in the Titanic. That was the joke at that time. Now we are coming after pandemics. We don't know how the situation is. We have to be very observant. As Joe Nye suggested, being very humble in trying to look, observe, and understand and learn lessons. And we're going there. So what is the connection between this green picture I am presenting with the 3 main ideas of our panels this morning, with democracy, with China, and with artificial intelligence? With democracy, remember please that it has 3 legs, as President Lincoln said. You need legitimacy of origin, of the people. You have to be elected, so elections are important. Then you have the second rule for legitimacy, is the way in which you govern, the rule of law, the respect of the Constitution. And the third one is the delivery part, to improve the quality of life of the population for the people. Sometimes we spend a lot of hours talking about elections, which are so important, talking about the rule of law, but we do not spend a lot of time talking about the delivery. What is for me in it, says the normal citizen in our streets. Why should I bet for democracy? What am I receiving? And that's a very important question. So this is one point. In relation to China, I agree with the perception of Beatriz Merino. She was speaking about the situation in Peru, but I think that the perception of the region could be very much like that. Because in the 50s and the 60s, the Americans came to our part of the world. They showed interest in projects, in industries, they invested, they showed concern. President Kennedy created the Alliance for Progress, the Peace Corps volunteers. We had a kind of role to play, but we disappeared from the radar of the United States as a region some decades ago. We don't have any important presence. I remember a debate between the two presidential candidates trying to get the nomination for the Democratic Party some years ago, talking about Latin America, and the debate was concentrated in what is the importance of Latinos in the United States, not the importance of what happens in Latin America over there. Of course, you, Michael, are an exception. You speak Espanol very well. You have taught in our universities over there. You always showed concern, but this is not the attitude of the United States towards our region for a long time. Now we are on the extreme of it. Okay? And the third connection, just a final thought about that. If you leave an empty space, somebody will come and will occupy that space. And that somebody was China since about 2004 until today. So that is the situation. And the third one, in relation to artificial intelligence, the only good news in this green perspective is the importance of the cell phones now. So we are using them to distribute these bonuses, etc. And technology presents a big, big opportunity for the future. But we need to link technology to the social problems of the people more than we are doing today. So 3 conclusions. First, about China. I would suggest to be careful in the language we use to describe a problem and to present solutions. We could leave the impression that we are too defensive in our approach. How to stop this monster? How to avoid them to do A, B, or C? We need more self-reflection. We need to analyze more our own mistakes. We need to be much more proactive. Like with the coronavirus, we need to improve our immune system to be more resistant to any virus. And we can do that by acting, not just observing and commenting. And finally, we are at the verge of a new social contract. And we have done a lot in the technology with our documents. This social contract is inevitably linked with the economic social contract, a new one. And the new social contract on the social aspects. So politics, economy, social, and technology come together. We cannot separate them. And thank you very much for your attention.